Aloha nui ko rua tātoa, tōku ingoa ko noa Paoa o Rapanui au, mai Rapanui au i oho mai ei. I au i Hawaii i te hora nei e hapi a, I rata I te hare hapi o Hawaii I Manoa. E ka piti huru mā wau o oku matahiti.
Te tangi nei rotoria, te taere ka o te hoko tahi, te hihira o te manahu, ka koe. Te mihimirahi o te matawa, I roto I te manawa e tangi ne.
So similar as to how it is here, there is like a dominant language that is the introduced language, which is Spanish in our case. So I grew up speaking Spanish, but also grew up speaking Rapanui. So my dad would speak to me in Rapanui, and my mom, who's not Rapanui, would speak to me in Spanish.
Is Rapanui what you call the language?
Yeah.
Or is there another term?
So then the people, the island, and the language are called Rapanui. Re'o Rapanui will be like more specific, like Rapanui language, you know, or Arero Rapanui, Re'o Rapanui. It's like Rapanui language.
So you have Re'o and what was it? Arero?
Arero.
Okay.
Arero.
What's the difference between those two?
It kind of like evolved over the years. I remember when I was a kid, people used to call him Arero. Arero means tongue. So it's a Rapanui tongue, you know. There's also Vananga Rapanui. Vananga is speech, so it would be Rapanui speech. And then there's Tere'o Rapanui, which is Rapanui. Re'o is voice, so the Rapanui voice. So whichever one you want to use they're all correct, you know. There's no.
There's just slightly little
there's
different.
Just slightly different meanings to each one of them. But
so if you were to say like my father is really good at speaking, what one would you use? Do you think?
I wouldn't use any.
Oh, for real?
I would just say Rapanui.
Okay, interesting.
Vananga roa tōku matuata ni te Re'o Rapanui. Oh yeah, I did use Re'o. Yeah.
Okay.
Re'o. Vananga, but I would say, for the most part, I use Re'o and Vananga.
Okay.
Re'o and Vananga, and I would say in general.
Okay.
Like there's a day of like the Rapanui language in Rapanui, and it's called Mahana o Te Re'o. Mahana o Te Re'o Rapanui. Yeah.
What about Spanish? Because when you're speaking Spanish, do you say just Spanish or you say a different word over there?
Español.
Español.
Yeah, Español.
I was gonna say because over here, like if we talk in Hawaiian, then it's pañolo.
Oh, you mean when I speak Rapanui, what's the word for Spanish?
Yeah.
So in Rapanui, it will be pañora.
Pañora.
Pañora. Pañora is Spanish. It's associated to Spanish from Spain, right? So pañora is from Spain. More recently, people would use Re'o Tire, which is associated with Chile. So tire is Chile. Yeah.
Tire is the Rapanui word?
Tire is the Rapa Nui word for Chile, for the country, for the people.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm already learning a lot.
Reo tire, reo paniora.
Well, you're speaking English too, so the other question is, how did you pick that up? Is that from your house? Your parents speak English in the house, or?
No.
Okay.
My parents never spoke to me in English in the house. But it is, I would say, somewhat common in Rapa Nui for people to speak English, and that is because of the tourism industry. You know,
Okay.
and it's sort of like getting to survival mode, and you need a tour guide, or you need someone, bus tables, or like waiter or whatever, and in that sense, it's sort of like a survival skill, to learn another language.
In your case, did you start learning English because of the tourism industry, or did they teach it at school? Where did you first start to learn English or hear English?
I have a very vivid memory of when I started learning, or around the time I started learning, and it was the day that, so my dad has a little hotel, and in this little hotel, he has like a big room, and in this big room, he used to show the Rapanui movie, the one filmed by Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
So, I was little, and I remember he stood me in the outside of the hotel, next to the movie
theater,
like a sign.
Oh, okay.
Sign right outside of the hotel. And whenever tourists will come, and look at the sign, I would be like, movie, follow me, please. And I would just like guide them inside to the hotel. That's like my earliest memory of speaking English. Again, associated to that like tourism industry.
Did you have any family members that were in the movie? Because they had a lot of extras and things.
I don't think so. Maybe as extras, maybe in the background. None that I can recall right now.
Because you were born before the movie came out, right?
I was born right when the movie was filmed. I think it was filmed 1995, and I was born 1995.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't have any recollection of that time. Yeah.
I'm curious as to what the Rapanui people felt as how they were portrayed in that film. Did you hear about that? Did people talk about that growing up?
No, I don't think so.
Nobody talk about the movie?
No, babe. No, definitely. But I don't think, there wasn't any it was a great movie, it portrayed us really well. Nor there was like the other side, the movie was crap, there wasn't no very hard feeling either way about the movie. What I would say, for the most part, if you see that people are not disliking it, it's likely because they do like it, But I would like to point out for anybody that has seen the movie or that is going to see the movie, to keep in mind that the movie is grabbing Rapanui, parts of Rapanui history and bunching it up all in 1 hour, things that didn't happen necessarily at the same time chronologically, So Moai and the Tangata Manu competition, are things that are from different timeline, parts of the timeline,
I wasn't expecting to ask about this, but how does the order go then for people that have seen the movie? So just those big events that you mentioned.
So the Moai construction predates the Tangata Manu competition, which is the Birdman competition, which it is a real thing. So the Birdman competition, is a real thing. I was asked here in Hawaii if that was like a Hollywood kind of made up thing, but it was real. It was recorded by the missionaries, and the missionaries, they were the last ones to see it, and then they influenced the fact that it never happened again. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What year was that about when the missionaries came? 1800s?
Putting me on the spot here. I don't know if I can. I don't remember exactly what year was that. Yeah, but it's gotta 1800s, 18 something. Yeah.
So it's been a long time since that took place.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever tried to bring the event back again, or?
I think there was one time that it wasn't I don't think it originated from Rapa Nui people trying to imitate it, but more like outsiders trying to imitate it, and they set up rock climbing gear and stuff like that to try to reproduce it. But I mean, it's just too dangerous, you know.
It is.
It's a competition that was invented for, you know, survival, you know. And if we don't need it right now, you know, there's no point, you know.
What do you call it again?
Tangata man,
Okay.
kanaka man,
Yeah, Kanakaman.
kanaka man.
Love it. Okay, so yeah, this leads me to, so we went through Tereo, Spanish, Pañora,
Pañora.
now you get English. What do you call English in Rapanui?
You say re o marite or re o papa. Banang
Marite.
marite. Banang marite. Marite is English and is usually referred to United States English. Because there's also paratane, which is Britain or
Oh,
English, you know, like
Perakania.
England.
Perakani.
Paratane
Okay,
in the Panui. Paratane.
interesting. Okay, let's go back then in time a little bit. How does that work in your house if you're learning Pañora and Tereo at the same time? Is it all at once? Because you say your dad only speaks Tereo to you, mom speaks Pañora.
Yeah.
And does mom ever speak Rapanui or?
No, she doesn't speak Rapanui. She understands a lot. She understands a lot. She has been really involved in creating resources for teaching Rapanui. So she would understand a lot, but I don't think I've ever heard my mom say like a complete Rapanui sentence to me, you know? You know, like,
Interesting.
go get your clothes, you know, or something like that, you know? Like, I don't
Interesting.
think so.
Always Spanish. From-
Spanish and German. So my mom is German. My mom's background is German. Ethnically German. Born in Chile. My
she
grandma,
knows both.
grandpa and grandpa from my mom's side, German.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. My whole mom's side of the family speaks German. It's me and my sister that don't speak German. We're the only ones that don't speak German.
What?
And so like I understand German, not very well, but I understand, you know, for the most part, I understand
Yeah.
German. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, so Spanish and German a little bit from my mom, and then Rapanui for the most part from my
So
dad.
how does your dad and mom communicate? In what language do they communicate?
Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So dad knows Spanish. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
There's no one person that doesn't know Spanish
In
in
Rapanui.
Rapanui. Everybody knows Spanish. Yeah, to like, you know, different levels, but everybody knows Spanish.
In school for you, is it Spanish as well, or?
Yeah, I did go to immersion school. Immersion school was from 1st to 4th grade. That was all fully Rapanui language.
Oh, okay.
The Rapanui.
Wait, what grades?
1st to 4th.
Okay, and then after was Spanish.
After that, Spanish. My understanding is that it hasn't changed. It's still to 4th grade. After that, you know, it's up to like the family, you know, to keep, or to, I guess, to the kid, you know, to keep, you know, that flame going, you know.
So when you go to the store and you go to, I don't know, anywhere you go, all the signs and everything are in what, Spanish mostly?
Spanish mostly. There have been a kind of like try to push more Rapanui signs. So the bank, you know, like, I mean, from what I can recall right now, the banks, well, they actually have signs in English. Like, I think it's like English, French, Spanish, Rapanui, because, you know, the tourism industry. But in general, it's Spanish.
Well, since you've been here for a time, you've probably heard a lot of people, when they talk about what they are ethnically, they'll give you, like,
Whole list, huh?
yeah, whole list.
Yeah.
And also sometimes percentages and things like that. In Rapanui, is it the same, or do you just claim everything that you are, or how does that go?
If you ask someone from Rapanui, what are you ethnically?
Yeah.
They're gonna say, I'm Rapanui.
That's it.
They're not gonna say anything else. They're not gonna say anything else.
But most likely they're mixed.
But most likely, you know, some ancestor of him or her is from somewhere.
So they'll lead with Rapanui. What if somebody keeps asking, like, you're only Rapanui, or you seem like you're something else? Will they tell you then?
Yeah, probably.
But
it's hard, you know, like, and I found it hard myself. I mean, when I heard, you know, people, oh, like, you know, where are you from, or what ethnicities, you know, and people, you know, tell you, oh, I'm this. Like, I find it hard to claim the ethnicity if I haven't really been exposed to that
and you
culture.
don't know
like,
much about it.
I could never say, oh, I'm German. You know, I don't speak the language. I don't know anything about the culture.
Yeah.
You know,
Interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
even though I'm half German. You know, so I am half German, but most of all, I'm Rapanui. I'm Rapanui.
Interesting.
And you ask me, and I'm Rapanui.
Yeah, I would probably say that most Hawaiians you meet will lead with Hawaiian. They probably have other things, but when you ask them what are you, they're Hawaiian. And then if people probe and they ask more, then they'll be like, okay, well, yeah, I'm also Chinese. Or yes, I might be Filipino, but they'll lead with Hawaiian.
I think
Interesting.
What I find silly is the percentages.
Yeah.
That's silly. I mean, you know, like saying I'm half this, half that, okay. But then when you start saying, oh, like 10% this, 5% that, how do you know? You don't know. The fact that your mom and your dad, you know, is one and the other doesn't mean that you are 50-50.
Exactly, yeah. I think in our defense, I think for me growing up, that's how I learned how to talk about what I was to break it up into percentages.
Yeah.
That's all I knew.
Right.
As I got older, there was a lot of different influences that came. So meeting people like you, I've met other Polynesians and they don't think that same way. They don't use percentages necessarily.
No, not at all.
They'll just say what they are, and they don't break it down. 25% of this, 10 of this.
No, like I mean, you know, like as I said, you know, my mom German, so I am part German. I'm part Rapanui. From my dad's side, the Rapanui side, you know, my dad also from what we think, you know, is like either English or Scottish, you know, or some other European country. We don't know who my grandpa's dad is.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's kind of up in the air.
Mystery.
Like, it's a mystery, you know. Yeah.
But when you ask him, he'll say Rapanui.
Rapanui.
Yeah.
Rapanui.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating. There's a lot of similarities then. Well, I mean, besides the percentage part, that leading with Rapanui, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely similar here.
There's a sense of pride in that, you know.
Yeah. Lost me at the end, but good. Okay, so we talk about leading with Rapanui, and for us Hawaiian, and I can't say that for generation before me and the one previous that it was the same. I think they were far less confident in saying that they're Hawaiian or being proud about that because it was discriminated against.
Right.
Language was oppressed, culture was oppressed.
Right.
So anything Hawaiian or any people that are Hawaiian, you don't necessarily want to be associated with as being a cultural Hawaiian. You can be Hawaiian by ethnicity, but you want to present more of a westernized sense of a Hawaiian. Do you have any, is there anything you guys can relate to with that? Of like, you're 28, I'm 31, so our generation has experienced a certain way of being Rapanui, being Hawaiian.
Right.
What was it for your dad or your grandparents?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think I can speak for like the sense of pride part for them, but there's definitely, you know, the similarity of like the language being banned, you know, and that kind of stuff. And actually, I can see it in my family, from my uncles, you know. Some of them speak Rapanui and they grew up speaking Rapanui, and Rapanui is the first language and the only language until they started learning Spanish. But then I get, you know, two of my uncles, they speak Rapanui. But they have told me it's not my first language, you know. I mean, at some point, you know, my grandma and grandpa made the decision, this is not the language that we're going to speak to them, you know. And I could see it, you know, when my grandma used to talk to him, to either one of them, or my grandpa used to talk to either one of them. They talk to him, or to them in Spanish. But then my dad was right next to the other uncle, and they would talk Rapanui to him, you know.
That's
and
interesting.
It was a weird dynamic to see, you know. And between my dad and that one uncle, Spanish. But then my dad and the other uncle, the other one of his brothers or siblings in general, Rapanui.
Huh.
It's weird.
You can't explain that.
I cannot explain it.
Huh.
I cannot explain it. You know, I cannot explain it.
So there was just, I mean, now you're explaining just a mix of, it almost feels like it depends on who the person is or maybe their experience with that person.
I think it depends on, I mean, it depends on the time, you know. Everything has to do with time, you know, like, I don't know exactly how old my uncle is, you know, but it's gotta be like when he was born or like around that time when the language must have been, you know, banned and stuff like that, because I know, you know, from like my dad telling me, you know, and aunties and uncles telling me that they will get smacked at school for speaking Rapanui, you know, with a ruler or with a
What year is
or
this
whatever.
about? What year about?
So let me see. It's gotta be like
asking for the dates again.
I know, it's gotta be like, well, just judging by like you know, when my dad was born, you know, and just like the age, I wanna say it must have been like the 70s, 1970s, 1960s, 1970s,
Okay.
around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the language is banned at that point.
Yeah.
How long? Do you know?
I don't know when exactly was it that like it opened up again, or like, you know, they stopped that. I don't know exactly the date.
So since then they've stopped that. It's not banned.
No, now it's not banned. I mean, actually now there's like this sort of there's this movement, I guess, of like trying to like
Revitalize the
language, you know,
normalize it again.
Normalize it again, you know, and trying to, as I was saying earlier, introduce, you know, all of these signs at the bank and at the hospital and like all of these different things to try to create like sort of like, in a way, force that environment on people.
I asked you this off camera already, but growing up there, so you're speaking Rapanui, Spanish, English as well, I guess, to certain people.
Yeah.
And then when you come to Hawaii, what were you expecting it to be like here?
So when I knew that I was gonna come to Hawaii, I knew that I had to learn Hawaiian. I knew that. I mean, it's been a thought, an idea that I've had since I'm a little kid, you know, that I would like to learn.
Come here.
No, not necessarily here, but like I would like to learn other Polynesian languages. It's always a fascination with the language, you know, and Polynesian music, you know, in general. So I was like, now that I have the opportunity to go live in Hawaii, I need to learn Hawaiian.
Now is your chance.
Now is the chance, you know. And now there's no excuse, you know. Now there's no excuse. So when I was coming here in the idealized world that I was making in my head, you know, I was like, oh, okay, you know, every weekend or whenever I'm not at school, I'm gonna go downtown, bring my ukulele and kanikapila with the uncles, you know, and like immerse myself in that environment, you know. However, when I got here, I saw that the reality was not that, you know, like you cannot go to like the grocery store or like, you know, the market and hear Hawaiian. I've never heard Hawaiian, you know, like
in a grocery store,
like Chinatown or like, you know, the market, but I heard two aunties speaking Tahitian.
Where?
I got out of the car and I was looking for, we call it manioca. It's like a potato.
Okay.
But tapioca?
Oh yeah, okay.
I think tapioca. I think that's the same name.
Sounds like it.
It's
manioca.
Similar, manioca, yeah. So, and I was looking for that because I wanted to make poe. Poe is like bread.
Okay.
You know? And I didn't know where to get it. And I literally get out of the car and I don't know exactly what the two aunties said, manioca. And I was like, I gotta follow the aunties. So I followed the aunties and yeah, they were getting manioca.
So did you know it was Tahitian? Because you're familiar with Tahitian, how it sounds.
I am familiar with, to me it sounded like Tahitian.
Okay.
To me it sounded like, I couldn't tell you 100% if I'm right or no, you know, maybe Marquesa, maybe, you know, whatever.
But it's Polynesian.
But it's Polynesian, yeah, 100%, yeah.
So you found what you were looking for?
I found manioca, yeah. Because I was like, guaranteed nobody's gonna know what I'm asking for if I ask for manioca, right? And I was like, I don't know the actual name, or not the actual name, but like the English name for this.
Maybe it is tapioca, I don't know. It sounds like it has to be.
It's like cassava, I think that's another name.
Oh, okay.
It's like a long potato.
That's different than tapioca, I think.
Is it?
I don't know. Somebody look that up.
It's one of those.
Somebody can leave a comment and say you guys
please let us know. Manioca, if in your island it's called the same, you know, what's the equivalent in English?
So you never heard Hawaiian spoken in anywhere?
Yeah.
And you live what year, so people know, what year did you come here?
I got here 2020.
Okay.
Which was also a really rough time because it was right before shutdown for the kind for.
So your experience here has been very unique.
Yeah.
Because of that.
I literally got here and maybe like 2-3 weeks after shut down everything. You know. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's tough. Because you want to come, you want to make friends and things like that. Or was that easy for you? Could you?
No, definitely affected. You know, affected in that sense. You know,
no community.
No community.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So you spend a lot of time online, maybe.
Online.
At
home. You know, just like at the beach. Yeah. Yeah, just me and my wahine doing, you know, just whatever we could find. You know.
You found a wahine, but you didn't find any friends?
I already had the wahine before, you know.
Oh, okay.
Before that.
So before you come here, maybe we rewind.
Yeah.
You come to Hawaii 2020, but you go to, so you leave Rapanui 18.
I leave Rapanui 18.
Where after?
Funny enough, I went to Oregon.
And that's where you met
kind of
wahine.
Unexpected. And that's where I met my wahine, who's Hawaiian. So I met this Hawaiian girl in Oregon. Yeah.
And then you're there for 2 years, then you come here? Or?
I'm there for 4 years. I get my undergrad. I go back to Rapanui. She still hasn't finished her school. She had 1 more year. I go back to Rapanui. I just wanted to go home, you know. I just wanted to go home, and I was home. And then I was home for like half a year, almost a year. And I was like, okay, I've been home. Now what? And then this idea got in my head of going to grad school. My wahine was planning on coming to Hawaii. So I was like, okay, let's, you know, I'm gonna shoot my shot and see what happens. I applied to UH and I got in, and here I am.
What was your undergrad in?
Geology.
And then the program you're in right now is your master's.
I got my master's 2022.
Oh, you already got it.
Still COVID times. Rapanui is closed. No one can come in. You can only leave. And my professor is like, no, I still have funding if you want to stay for a couple more years and get your PhD. I called my dad and I was like, Dad, hey, my professor is offering me this opportunity. I can stay here for a couple more years and get my PhD. And I was like, what do you think? Should I come home? You need help with anything? Blah, blah, blah. He was like, son, there's nothing going on here. There's no one tour. You know, my dad has as I said, a little hotel. He's like, I'm gardening every day. Like, there's nothing else to do. And I'm like, okay. Even if I wanted to leave, it would have been trying to figure out my way to Rapanui would have been a struggle.
So just really quickly, all the degrees you have are?
I got my undergrad, Oregon.
In geology.
In geology. Master's in the geology department.
Okay.
But studying sea level rise. And now I'm getting my PhD in the same.
Sea level rise.
Sea level rise.
Okay.
Yes.
And when do you think you'll get that done this year?
Expected date of graduation, December 2024.
So we're sitting in front of a very educated man.
Still get a lot of work to do and not a lot of time. Hopefully December this year.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your plan, or I don't know if you have a plan, but when you finish and you get the PhD, you're gonna stick around?
So far I've been, making it up as I go.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a plan.
Okay.
I don't really have a plan.
You could stay.
I could stay.
Yeah.
I could stay. I definitely don't want to stay here for too long. I know that, the end point, far ahead, the plan says, go back to Rapanui.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that? What makes you feel like you gotta go, or you should go?
I mean, there's many reasons. One is that you can feel the island calling you, But I also, there's things that I wanna do in Rapanui, that I sort of started doing here for a bit, Tere o Rapanui, Instagram, associated to that.
So to helping normalize Rapanui a little bit.
Yeah.
What about using, you're talking about sea level rise, right? Is part of your dissertation you're working on, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that going to be part of what you do when you go back, most likely?
Hopefully. That would be awesome if I could just keep going research. It would be awesome. People keep asking me, oh, you're going to stay here? You're going to go back? If you go back, where are you going to work? And honestly, there is no job specifically for what I can, for what I have the skills to do, Like here would be like...
I'm not even sure what the skills are. Like in general, what kind of research would you do?
So I do a lot of research with satellite imagery, tide gauge data, satellite altimetry data, anything that has to do with the ocean, really. Anything that has to do with lately I've been working with a lot of wave data. So it's just, just like a single point, and records every second what the level is. And in that record, you can see, oh, there's a wave here, there's a wave here, there's a wave. You can see all the waves, and you can make cool looking graphs that tell you what the ocean is doing at certain points, So, yeah, the field for someone that does what I do would be like working for like NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or USGS, or not really that broad. The more you study something, the specific, the more
you find yourself
narrow. The more narrow, like your field gets, Yeah.
Well, you also ride a lot of waves, as well.
Yeah.
Is that part of your research?
It's not part of the research, but in my head, I'm always like, oh, maybe I can do something, computer model something, to like help me paddle better, but I haven't figured that out yet.
So, you paddle. We're here at the Outrigger Canoe Club.
Yeah.
Was paddling big part of growing up?
Not for me.
No?
No, not for me. Paddling is big in Rapanui. And I was exposed to it, just by looking at, friends, cousins, uncles, whatever, that paddle, I get out of the house and you can see the ocean and you see people paddling, and in Rapanui, it is really good at it. They go compete, Tahiti, they go compete, Chile, whatever, and they kick ass, And so it's definitely an important part of the community, I would say. But No, I never did paddle when I was in Rapanui. Yeah, I only started paddling when I came here to Hawaii.
Why do you think that happened that way?
That is because another thing that I thought when I knew I was gonna come here, in addition to learning Hawaiian, I was like, I'm gonna be in Hawaii. I'm gonna go surfing every day. I'm gonna, get better in my surfing skills and whatever. And I go out to Diamond Head to go surfing one day. I was like, I'm gonna go really early, 6 a.m. No one's gonna be there. When I get all the ways for myself, and I get there 6 a.m. and there was already 100 people in the water, 100 getting ready. And I was like, oh, this is not it.
Surfing.
This is not it.
Yeah, you're talking about surfing specifically.
Yeah.
And because of that, it turned you.
I was like, I gotta find
some way to get into the water.
Yeah, somewhere to get into the water. Yeah, and I found. Actually, was riding down. I'm driving down Kapahulu, and I saw a sign that said, "Paddlers needed."
And you thought,
I
can do that.
Yeah, I can do that. Okay, boom. I bought a paddle. I showed up. Not really. I mean, I paddle. Maybe like once or twice with my cousins.
Yeah.
My uncle that would invite me a couple of times, and I just show up and and I went there maybe like twice in the Alawai.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story, there's an uncle of mine here, he's cousins with my dad, and his now wife was like, hey, I used to paddle for Huinalu. You should come paddle for Huinalu with your uncle. I was like, shoot.
So he's here.
He's still here.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, he's still, it's sort of in a similar situation as me. He came here for, right before COVID. And then the island shut down and he got stranded here. And yeah, now he has a wife and a kid.
Wow. Well, not a bad place to settle down, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure.
So you got into that pretty early on then, since when you got, after getting here?
2020. Yeah.
And then you've just done it up until now.
Yeah.
What are for people that maybe don't know or familiar with paddling, like you're paddling as a team initially. That's how you start. You don't have a one-man canoe, you have...
I would say that it's more common to start in a 6-man canoe, just because you wouldn't make the commitment of buying a $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 canoe just to go and learn it.
Well, the 6-man is pretty expensive.
The 6-man is pretty expensive, but then you can get into a club, and use a 6-man for whatever the membership is, maybe like $200 a year, and paddle and make friends. So it was also a way of getting to know people here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Was paddling 6-man. Yeah.
What was your seat?
2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 or 3.
Isn't that kind of like the muscle in the middle?
Yeah.
3. Did I hear that wrong?
I would say 3 and 4. 3 and 4
3 and 4.
are known as the engine of the canoe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe give it a little bit of description of because it's 1 through 6.
Yeah, 1 through 6.
Starting from 1, what's the
1? Usually called, but because Tahiti is so big in paddling, 1 is usually called fa'ahoro. Fa'ahoro is the guy that gives the timing on the canoe. So everybody follows number 1. Number 2 is essentially the same job as number 1, just on the opposite side. A little bit more work for number 2 than number 1. Number 1 is literally just the timing. 3 and 4 are the engines of the canoe. 5 also part of the engine, but is the in between the engine and the steersman. So when the ocean is big, it's also helping keep the canoe upright and turn wherever the steersman wants to go. And then you get number 6 will be the steersman. Yeah.
Is seat 2 and 3 easy to get into? Is that why they put you there? Because the first and I don't want to say one's better than the other or more important, but it might be easier for somebody getting into paddling to start in the middle somewhere.
I would say that they put you, if it's your first time doing it, I would say they put you in number 5.
Okay.
Number 5, yeah.
So you must have been pretty good if they didn't put you back there.
Maybe just the way I look, just a taller. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I was thrown around at the beginning. I was thrown around all over the place. 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter.
You sit anywhere.
I just sit anywhere. I just go paddle.
Well, we got some shots of you today.
Yeah.
Is that like that's your normal routine? That's the beach you go to, Kaimana?
Yeah, Kaimana. During the one-man season, we come to Kaimana as a group, and we get our workout in the morning, early in the morning. Mm-hmm. Go out maybe for like an hour, and then come back in. Yeah.
What time?
6 a.m. is the crew call. Yeah, crew call 6 a.m.
Well, you live pretty close, yeah, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, I live Kaimuki, so literally just drive down, grab my canoe from the storage, and then come here. Maybe it takes me like 20 minutes. Yeah, set up the canoe, really easy, you know. Get in the water, put the canoe back, and then go to school. That's my routine.
I've seen you ride some waves. Is there any battling you do with the surfers? Or you just try to, you guys just stay out of each other's way? I'm curious as to how that works.
Yeah, you kind of we kind of stay out of each other's way. The surfers tend to be a lot closer to like this, like where the wave really gets steep, and it's not really somewhere you want to be on the canoe. So you kind of try to avoid that part, and like whenever you see surfers, you would tend to go on the outside of them. Unless you're trying to like beat someone, you know, and like try to cut corners, you would tend to stay outside of the surfers. Just because
you're talking outside of the break, not inside of it, yeah?
Yeah. So the land, the surfers, you know, you stay, you know, the ocean.
That's a good tip for people that are going out learning. Stay away from the
where
surfers.
the wave breaks, don't be there. Yeah. Stay on the other side.
Plus, you might get into it with some surfers who don't appreciate you cutting them off.
Yeah. In the canoe, we can catch waves like way ahead than any surfer can. So sometimes we come here with Uncle Jay, with Uncle. We come right here and then we catch waves. But they get the surfers that are like a lot deeper in the wave, and then we're like way on the shoulder of the wave, and we can catch the wave from like way back. So the surfers already know that we are on the wave, you know. So like we're doing our own thing, you know. Yeah. We don't bother each other. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Eke aloha e mariu mai oe e ia hoi au ke kari aku nei o ka ike ua noa ka uhana e nani ka ili puwai e nani ka ili puwai e nani ka ili puwai. I threw that one in at the end.
that caught me off guard.
I didn't tell you about that one. Sometimes I do that at the end, but I don't tell nobody. Okay, we're gonna try something we thought would be interesting. I'm gonna only speak Hawaiian. He's only gonna respond or speak to me in Te Reo, and we're gonna just try to figure out if we can understand.
Each other.
Because we thought there are similarities enough, and maybe we can figure it out.
I think we need to. Should we like set the context beforehand or no, or just like?
I say we just do it.
We just do it. Okay, don't make the contest too hard, huh? You know what I mean? Like philosophical, huh?
No, something easy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
E turuena koe kitai hangaroa koe hakangaru roa koe.
E ni nau kera ale mau popo hele no o I ke kai.
E turuena koe kitai hakangaru roa koe.
Ale mau popo. Hele kawa mea holowa a hoe wa paha.
No, irungit miro. He kau koe ki roto kitai. E hakangaru. He kau he o. Hakangaru.
Kia mola alu he nalu. Koa opio he nalu nui no mahu.
I Rapanui, me nui nui, hakangaru. Hakangaru, me nui nui.
Ia māku mea nui no i. Aka o loo no ka au po i keiki, loo ka hana, ale wo here ka he nalu. Mā mua kera mo he nalu pokoli. Pokoli, loo ihi. Kau māku i runa na anu papariki ole, ai? He e ka nalu. Oia no?
Okay. Haere na ko i te tai. Haere ko i te tai, I rungi te mā ea. Pū ko I te wā e hai hatuke.
Ke mahu here I ke kai.
Haere ko rua ki te tai I rungi te mā ea. Pū te wā e. Hai hatuke.
Holo ke ano, holo wawae, komo I roko ke kai.
He uru ko I ki roto tai. He haere I rungi te mā ea. Pū te wā e. Pū te wā e hai hatuke.
Ke manawa ni o le roa hehi ka wawae I roko ke kai. Ke mahu here I roko ke kai, a hehi ka wawae I rono keone.
No, ina, tai I rungi te one.
Ma keone aali.
I rungi te mā ea. I rungi te puku.
Ma ka mau no paha, mau. Here ma ka nā here here.
E haere I rungi te mā ea.
Hui kau.
I rungi te mā ea, tai he one. Tai he one. He mā ea. I te tai. He hat mea o te tai. He one.
He one.
He I te kaukau.
Koa.
Mā ea. He one. Mā ea.
Ia
He
māku
one. He
keone.
mā ea. He waikawa.
Kawa.
Waikawa. He tai.
O I ke awa. Ia māku ke awa. Holo ke kai I roko ke awa. A I roko ke awa huki I.
Te ika. Te ika e. I te awa.
Holo kai I roko ke awa. A maria no I keika ka huki ano ke au. Ke au. Mea ka poe marihini ke rako au I roko ke kai. Lawi
E tō mai ara ua e te au.
I wahaloa. Huki I wahaloa e ke au.
E oho ko e kau e tō mai ara ua.
Are wo koku. You want to try to break that one down?
All right, so
Your context was what?
the context was going to the beach. The context was
I
going to the
got
beach.
haere.
Haere.
Kitai. How do you say them?
Kitai.
Kitai.
Yeah, I said turu. Turu kitai.
Which was to get into the...
Turu is iho.
Oh.
Iho ikai. Turu kitai. Yeah.
You also use haere.
Haere. Haere is to walk.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I think we got the gist of it.
I got that we were going to the beach. I wasn't sure what
There
we
was,
were doing.
I think there was one part that really got us confused. But so the first part was hakangaru.
Hakanaru, I got it. After like the second time, I was like, okay.
Yeah. Which
He'enalu.
is he'enalu, right?
So you say haka.
Hakangaru.
Okay.
Yeah, hakangaru. Which
Ngaru.
also we use also.
Is it ngaru?
Ngaru. Yeah.
Hakangaru.
Hakangaru.
For us, he'enalu.
He'enalu. Yeah.
Okay.
We also use hakanini, but I wasn't gonna use hakanini
Hakanini.
because I feel like it would have been too
Nini is
confusing.
nalu as well. Nini.
No, nini is like slippery, kind of like slide.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he'e would be to slide.
Oh, really?
For us. Yeah, that's what he'e nalu is.
I
yeah.
thought it was like-
he'e ki kanaka maruno kanalu.
I thought it was like ho'o, as in like do the wave. You know what I mean?
Nalu. Oh, no.
Yeah. So in Rapanui it's hakangaru, which for us we don't use the word ngaru for wave anymore. We use vave. At
Okay.
some point something happened, but I bring that up because we use there's hakangaru and there's also hakahonu.
Oh, interesting.
And hakahonu,
Honu is turtle for us.
so it's to do as turtles. It's
Oh,
body
yeah.
surfing.
So honu for us it would be similar. Honu.
Ho'ohonu. Yeah.
To act like one, to be like a turtle. Like
Yeah,
that
meaning that you go and body surf. Not surf, but body surf.
way. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so then I said, so when you go in the water and you walk on the rocks,
You said ma'ea?
ma'ea,
Ma'ea.
ma'ea.
Which I was like,
Yeah, what would be?
I don't know what that is.
It's rocks.
Oh, okay.
When you walk on the
Okay,
rocks.
so at some point I said keone, ke ko'a, which ko'a could be coral. I didn't know if you meant that or like apapapa. Apapapa would be the
I
reef.
te papa. Oh, I could have used papa, bro.
Apapapa would be reef.
Oh,
But
for us it's
ko'a-
papa.
Or it could be pohaku to some degree, but that's real different.
I could have used papa. So
Papa,
papa
yeah.
is like the flat reef.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's apapa. Yeah, apapapa.
Papa.
Okay.
But I was saying, you walk on the if you ever walk on the rocks and get your feet
You say pu
pu te vai,
pu pu.
with
Vana.
sea urchins.
Vana.
Yeah, with vana. So for us, hatuke is like the more coastal ones, and the vana is like the more deep ocean ones.
Hatuke.
Hatuke.
I thought of hauke. Hauke uke. Which is a urchin, but it's not the vana kind. It's
Like with the longer.
purple colored.
Yeah,
Oh, that's it?
that's it. Hatuke.
You sure? I don't know. We'll see.
I'm positive, bro. That everything that you're saying, you know,
Okay.
it's not the vana and it's purple. Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, that one threw me off with like the pu pu tawai.
Pu pu te vai.
Yeah, I was like, and you made a gesture with your legs, and I was
Yeah,
like,
I was like, oh.
hey, hey, go away, get ahead, which is like, your legs kind of go up and down when you're going through, when you're walking in the sand, the ocean,
Yeah.
sea, whatever. That one threw me off. I was like, I don't know what this guy's talking
But
about.
then you started talking about the fish. The fish in like
did.
the.
Yeah,
the
Ava.
channels.
So Ava for us for channel. What was yours?
We would say ava too, but ava. I mean, in general, in the context that I've been exposed to, is ava is on land, so like a
Valley.
like a valley.
For
that
us,
would be
you
ava.
could do both. Yeah. There's other terms. But
I don't know
you
if
say
it would be.
Ava.
I don't know if it would be wrong to say ava in Rapanui.
So what
for
was yours
channel.
then for channel?
No, I said ava just because you were saying ava,
Okay.
so that we wouldn't get any more out of the out of the picture.
Did you get what I was
I
saying?
would say karava.
Karawa.
Karava, I think.
What do you think I was saying when I brought up the channel?
Then you said the channel, and then you were talking about tourists, huh? And how the current takes them out. Right?
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
How did you explain that? Because I said like huki kiao yarako iwa holoa. We said
But you use the word out.
au. Yeah, there's two. So I said au kapoe marihini roko kekai, which is like they swim. Yeah. People that are not used to the ocean, they swim in. Yeah. Au lako i roko kekai. Huki kiao yarako iwa holoa. And then the au is the current.
Oh, okay. So there is out current.
Okay.
Okay. So for us, it's out too.
I was saying, the tourists will swim in the ocean, then they can get pulled out by the current in the awa, the channel, because
in
of
the channel.
Yeah, and I did also say like holokai ai loko ke awa, fishes go.
I was understanding most of it, but I got hooked on the word out, and I was like really hoping that out was current, because I was like, okay, yeah,
What, it worked out?
it worked out. Yeah.
That's pretty.
And then I asked you if you ever go and rescue them.
And I said no.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I said I don't help.
Ah.
Yeah, but you got all day. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't do that. I just don't go to the beach anymore. I probably would help if I was there. Yeah, that's cool.
That was cool.
I mean,
bro.
there's similarities enough that, like I said off camera, like I think when there's context that Rapanui and Hawaii would know intimately,
Both
like
experience
kai,
that.
yeah, or like farming, fishing,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. I think we would find a lot of similarities
Yeah.
there.
Tupa o turikiriki, makate matuhira, ko te pua korohuki, tangira mo te matua, ka pokia papito huke, nakupuna o te hinarere, anga ngai poki, amoe hangarangitaki. Kahakara mora korua, pohia te ango koro, aitana ngā poki, e aroha nei amatua. Hakara mo mai korua, te himene nei makoro, e aroha o te makupuna, a mai o te waru